Good afternoon, and thanks for tuning in with me on this Thursday, August 11th day. Today I wanted to talk about fresh produce and how long it can last in your refrigerator before you have to either use it or possibly even discard it. So, what I have here, I'm going to go down the list. Again, I don't know how accurate this is because everybody's refrigerator varies from temperature to temperature, so it could be a slightly shorter span equivalent, or it could be a little longer. So, what I have here to start with is apples. It's saying that apples can last 4 to 6 weeks in a refrigerator. That seems like a long time. I've never kept apples in a refrigerator that length of time, but then again, I don't buy that many apples at once either. Whenever I go shopping, I might buy three, maybe four. And if I, let's say, eat a couple apples a week, I would say it would be half that time frame. It'd be about 2 weeks at most, if not a little bit less. Avocados. I've eaten them. It's not something I normally buy, primarily because they're bland and you have to add to it in order to flavor it to bring out the taste. But according to this, it says an avocado can last 4 to 7 days at room temperature. I never knew that. I wouldn't know that, again, as I just said, it's not something I commonly buy, if ever. Um, have I had it? Yes, I have. It's not something I would really go out of my way for, though. Bananas, 2 to 5 days at room temperature. That sounds about right. I can see where that would apply. For example, I try to get bananas just as it's coming out of the green stage, about to turn yellow. But they do say that the best way to eat a banana is when it starts to form little brown, black dots on it. They say that the banana is at its optimum ripeness at that point. Me, I can eat it there or slightly before the little dots show up. Next, let's see. Berries. Let's see. The first one it talks about here is a blueberry. It says it can last 1 to 2 weeks in the fridge. What I like to do with blueberries is I have one of two things that I do. I'll either put it in plain yogurt, or I do make a pretty good blueberry pancakes. So that's a good thing to know about blueberries. Strawberries, 3 to 7 days in fridge. That I can vouch for. I just bought some strawberries about a week and a half ago, and that's pretty much true. But it also depends on how ripe they are. But usually, strawberries don't last very long with me. When I buy a 1 pound package, I can usually have that eaten within a couple of days because I do like to have strawberries at times for like a dessert, or I'll eat it at breakfast time. Raspberries, 2 to 3 days in the fridge. Okay, that sounds about right as well. Raspberries is not something that I commonly buy. I do buy it every once in a while. It also depends on what I'm using it for. I do like to put raspberries in a smoothie. If I ever go to make a smoothie, I like to use raspberries. And I also like to use blackberries, which that's not spoken about here, but I'm pretty sure that's probably 2 to 3 days in the fridge as well. Broccoli, 1 to 2 weeks in the fridge. That I'm not certain about because every time I've bought broccoli in the past, I've usually cooked it within the first week. So I don't really know if it'll last a couple of weeks or not. That's not saying it won't. But I do usually use it within the first few days of me buying it, if not the day that I get it. Carrots, 3 to 4 weeks in a fridge. That that I'm not certain about. Again, this is just guesstimations. Um, I know that a carrot can last a couple of weeks in the fridge. That I can vouch for sure because I've done it. But a month, mm, it's possible. Well, in any case, I mean, these numbers are good to know. A cucumber, 1 week in the fridge. Okay. Again, that's something I usually use up within a few days of me buying it. Whether I put it in a salad or I like to take chopped up cucumbers with a little bit of Pompeian robust olive oil and a little apple cider vinegar and maybe a dash of garlic and a little pepper on top. I like to eat it that way too. But that's good to know about it being uh, good in the refrigerator for a week. Citrus, 3 to 4 weeks in fridge. Citrus doesn't last that long with me. As you know from my Sam's Club shop, I took you around the produce section and I showed you oranges, mandarin oranges, lemon, and lime. I'm a citrus person. Citrus doesn't last that long with me. I doubt if citrus lasts a week because I do eat it and I love it. Corn, 1 to 3 days in the fridge. Okay, that sounds about right because I've been known to buy corn. I prefer the fresh corn, the one that you got to take the whisk off of. Um, but I usually cook it within the first couple of days. Garlic, 3 to 6 months at room temperature. That I'm not certain about. Every time I bought garlic, I've usually used that up within the first week and a half because I do like to use fresh garlic in my spaghetti sauce um, and any other dish that it calls for. There's nothing like fresh garlic compared to, say, something out of a little jar or the powder, which is okay in a pinch. But if you can get the real deal, definitely stick with that. Grapes, 7 to 14 days in fridge. I don't know if I've gotten No, I've never had grapes in my refrigerator for 2 weeks. Again, about a week, yeah, I can see that. Grapes is not something I buy a large quantity of either because I will only buy what I think I can consume. I won't buy any overage or any under. But I can see about a week. I'm not sure about 2 weeks. I've never stretched it that far. Lettuce, 7 to 10 days in the refrigerator. Um, that I can vouch for it. I have had romaine lettuce, which I actually prefer over all of it. I have had that in the fridge 12 to 14 days and it still be all right. But usually when I do a salad or anything containing lettuce, I do usually use that up within the first few days. Onions, 3 to 4 months. I don't know about that. Again, onions is not something I like to buy a lot of either. I know I have seen an onion go about a month. I don't know about 3 to 4 months. Again, this is all good to know if it's, from what I'm reading. Peaches, 1 to 3 days at room temperature. That is about right. Peaches is another one that I usually buy, not a large amount of at one time. I usually buy about two or three. And I usually like to buy peaches. There are times that I can walk by the peaches in the produce section and the smell just hit me in the face. And when I smell that, I usually get the peaches because they're ripe. But 1 to 3 days, yeah, I'll go along with that. Potatoes, 3 to 5 weeks in a pantry. Okay. I usually don't keep potatoes in my pantry more than about 2 weeks at a time at most. I do buy a bag of potatoes. I usually buy a 3 pound bag. Um, I do like mashed potatoes. I like baked potatoes. I also like to put potatoes in a pot roast that I make from time to time. Let's see. Pears, 3 to 5 days in fridge once ripe. That sounds about right. Um, Bartlett pears, D'Anjou pears, I usually get those two. A lot of the time, I usually buy 3 or 4 of them. And yes, within a 3 to 5 day period, they are consumed. So I'll definitely, attest to that one. Tomatoes, 1 week at room temperature. Tomatoes, I do like them. I prefer it in a soup or spaghetti sauce or a chili or something along those lines. I will eat tomatoes sliced up. Um, I prefer Roma tomatoes over all of them because of the acidity, but I'll go along with a week. I've also been known to put it in my refrigerator, but I'll definitely go along with a 1 week time frame. Watermelon, 7 to 10 days at room temperature. All right, that I don't know if it's true or untrue because I like cold fruit. I've always been a fan of cold fruit. Don't ask me why. But watermelon is something that I like to eat cold, not at room temperature. But I don't know if it would last 7 to 10 days at room temperature. I've never tried it. Let's see. Zucchini, 7 to 10 days in fridge. Now I do like my squash, zucchini, yellow squash, butternut squash. I've only had a couple of times. It's not too bad. Acorn squash, which is good if you bake it with some butter in the on the inside when you cut it in half, is pretty good. But I guess I could see zucchini going 7 to 10 days. That's usually something that I prepare either the day of that I purchase it or say the following day. But I don't know if 7 to 10 days would be there or not. I don't see why it wouldn't, as long as it stays cool. Well, anyway, these are some tips that I happen to get. These are not my tips. These are not what I come up with. It's what I have found and thought I would pass along to you guys. Do I agree with all of it? I'll go along with about 75% of what this says. Um, like I said, in the case of the avocado, that's not something I really buy once in a blue moon, if ever. Um, Again, there's no flavor to it. They do say it's got a lot of good minerals and vitamins and nutrients in it, um, but I have had it. It's all right. Not something I would go out of my way for, though. So, anyway, guys, I want to thank all of you for tuning in this afternoon. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great remainder of your Thursday, and I will see you guys back here on Saturday. Have a good one. Bye.